Hey there everyone, it's Cloud Chief, and in today's video I wanted to do a follow-up on REMAs. I wanted to follow up on this because not all REMAs are obtained the same. Some REMAs you get at 75, and others you get 119 out of the box. For the most part, REMA isn't really useful at this point unless it is 119, and even in some cases it's not even useful until you have it to the Afterglow stage. So we're going to go over all these basically from the point you obtain them until they get Afterglowed. I'm not going to be going over the R15 process, so the process of augmenting REMAs. We'll go over that in another video. So let's start with Relics and Mythics, since they are kind of the same. So you'll obtain and actually have your Relic and Mythic weapon at level 75. At that point you need to go through a series of Mog trials to go ahead and get it upgraded all the way to level 99. For both the Relic and Mythic, you basically just need to kill a boatload of trash mobs until you get it up to 85. And honestly, for this entire process when you're killing trash mobs, I highly recommend that you guys actually go into Abyssia. I recommend that you go into Abyssia and that you go ahead and set Atmas that actually give you regain. So Seed Altar and VV should pretty much be on your list. This will help speed up the process as it's going to get you to 1000 TP much faster. Another little trick that can help you speed up the process on this step, if you have a boatload of crewer and don't mind burning through it. Essentially what I recommend doing is gathering up a bunch of mobs for whatever mob type that you need to kill, and then go ahead and pop a brew. At that point you will be gaining TP relatively fast, and it's just going to be high damage, guaranteeing you're getting a kill, which helps later. I did this when I was actually upgrading my Nirvana, and it was quite nice just to be able to constantly be popping off a Garland of Bliss and just knowing that the mobs are just instantly killing, and I can just keep popping it off really fast. For melee jobs, this is not as needed, and I would probably recommend not doing this for melee type jobs and really only saving this for mage type jobs. You can also get credit if someone else has the same weapon skill in your party. However, I've seen people basically sit in town shouting for hours trying to get someone to help them just to help speed up the process a little bit, when they would at that point just be better off going to Abyssia and cranking it out and getting it done. However, if you can team up with someone, that's only going to help you, get it done that much faster. So don't be afraid to team up with someone. So for Relics, to progress it to level 90, you need to go ahead and kill the test NM in Glacier that's associated with your Relic weapon and the test that you need it. You basically need to kill this NM 5 times while having the weapon equipped to progress to the next trial. To progress your Relic weapon to level 95, you need to kill the animated weapon that's associated with it 10 times. After that, you need 5 Umbral Marrows, which are drops from Archdynamis Lord, but they are also obtained in Ambuscade, and you can also just pick them up off the auction house. So for Mythics, to progress the weapon to level 90, you need to kill 3 times a tier 4 ZNM. It's different for each weapon. To then progress your weapon to level 95, you need to actually take out one of the salvage chariots 3 times, and this is from the original salvage, not from the new higher level salvage. Then to upgrade your Mythic from level 95 to 99, you need 3 Mulsabar Sorias, which are drops that come from Pandemonium Warden. I do recommend, if you're capable, to actually try and at least get a couple of these yourself, considering you would have had to been working on ZNMs anyway to get the kills for earlier stages in your Mythic. So if you do a little bit more work, you can actually be popping this NM and getting the drops guaranteed, as it always drops 1 and possibly 2 of them per kill. I just highly recommend you have a tank that has really good magic resist, just to make sure that you can actually survive, because at the end, lots of astral flows can definitely destroy a party. But also, just like the Umbral Marrows, you can get this from Ambuscade, and you can also get them from the auction house. So now let's move on to Empyreans. Empyreans are actually magian trial weapons. You actually get the weapon directly at 75 just for going up and opening the chest next to the trial Moogle up in Juno. The thing about it is, the weapon doesn't have anything, and it isn't good until you've gone through quite a few trial steps. To start, you will have to kill quite a few different NMs, most of them being trash. Next, you will have to kill some Voidwalker NMs, which is a little more challenging, but it's not anything too challenging at this point, at being 119. So after the Voidwalker NMs, we need to move on to Abyssea NMs, and from these you actually need drops to upgrade the weapon. You need 50 from the first tier NM, 50 from the second tier NM, and 75 from the third tier NM. Each of these NMs can drop 1 to 2 of the items required per kill. You can also occasionally purchase these items with login points. And these Abyssea NMs are when the weapon is actually going to start leveling up and actually technically becomes the Empyrean weapon, because before this it technically doesn't have the Empyrean weapon name. It's a different weapon. You'll actually obtain the weapon at level 80, but you won't be able to do the associated weapon skill with it. At 85 you'll be able to do the associated weapon skill, and then from there it just basically gets stronger. To level an Empyrean weapon from 90 to 95, you'll need 1500 heavy metal plates that can be obtained from Voidwatch, from Ambuscade, and from just purchasing off the auction house. From moving from level 95 to 99, you need either Rift Cinder or Rift Dross, which comes from the same locations, either from Voidwatch NMs, from Ambuscade, or from the auction house. So for Relic, Mythic, and Empyrean weapons, you can upgrade them from 99 to 119 via Obero, where you will need to trade him 300 of either Pluton, Riftborn Boulders, or Betsu, depending on which weapon you get. I highly recommend that you upgrade them this way. That'll make it a non-Afterglow weapon. You can go through the Magian trials and get it an Afterglow weapon at level 99, but I do not recommend doing that, as it is faster, cheaper, and easier to Afterglow after it's already 119, as opposed to Afterglowing it when it's still only 99. So as long as you've completed Rhapsody missions, you can now upgrade your 119 Relic, Empyrean, or Mythic to an Afterglow version of the 119 just by trading 10,000 of whatever item you traded before, the Pluton, Riftborn Boulders, or Bietsu, to Obero. The Ergon weapons, which are Geomancer and Rune Fencer's ultimate weapon, you obtain them at level 119, but they can be afterglowed through the same process that take the Bietsu. And as for Aeonics, Aeonics are already at 119, and Aeonics can't be afterglowed. There is no stage to do that. So at this point, the weapons are as good as they're going to get, unless you start taking them through the augment process, which pushes them up to R15. But like I said, we're going to be saving that for another video. As for Relics, Empyreans, and Mythics, typically for a mage, like Nirvana, you don't really get much with afterglowing it. If you see someone walking around with an afterglow Nirvana, it's typically more to just be like, hey, I completed this and looking good. It's just a regular 119 Nirvana is basically going to do the same for your pets. Outside of those utility cases, though, you basically need to upgrade it to an afterglow version. In most cases, using a non-afterglow 119 ultimate weapon, unless it's an Aeonic, since that can't be afterglowed, isn't even worth using. You can get much better weapons for very easy that are going to be better and beat out a Relic, Empyrean, and Mythic that is non-afterglowed. But once it's afterglowed, it can be an absurd weapon that's just really good and will outclass pretty much any other weapon in the game, except for a few circumstances and exceptions. And that about wraps up talking about upgrading REMAs from whatever level they start, getting them to 119, which is almost their final form. For a while this was their top form, but then SE went ahead and introduced augmenting REMA weapons. But we will be saving that for another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you got some value out of this, go ahead and hit that like button. And as always, may you have success in all you do.